that part about the extra character design, showing really a lot of the personality behind them. I mean, when Velma's on the ground, she's looking for her glasses, which is also comical. But one of the things you were just alluding to is that aerial mobility from Superman. Both Batman and Superman have the ability to get that dodge from the ground. That does
Exactly.
not take away from your resources on that. That does not remove the fact that you still have those two other dodges in the air or that jump. It is another burst option from the ground, and it's easy to cover someone like Rain Dog, who even though they have that up special to get very far across the stage, Superman can chase that. And I think that it's going to matter a lot for Leviathan to figure out the patterns of where the Superman is going to be looking for that. That way you can get in with the Rain Dog's approach.
And the reason I even bring that up is because Velma, on the other hand, does not have that same affordance. A lot slower of a character than Superman in terms of trying to maneuver around the stage. But what it means is if Velma's ever in trouble, Clark Kent will be there like that to go ahead and throw some support. So I'm very excited to see how this composition works against these Titans, because they almost fell earlier.
And something that this team takes advantage of very well is the elemental debuffs, particularly ice. We've seen a couple of the other teams today use them somewhat for the slows, but Velma has that down special to cover so much range, to break the ice from Superman, and the ability to stop battering as well by using the Frost Breath to stop that in the air. If you have a lot of ice stacks on you because of those projectiles from Velma, Superman's going to be doing so much damage. It's not going to be like a tank. It's going to be like that damage dealer. As we start things off here on Sky Arena with no platforms, game number 1 for this winter finals of Wave 8 pools.
Okay, and just like that, we can already see quite the aggression coming out here from both Leviathan and Synume as they get these combos almost as KO off the top from the uppercut. We're going to see a lot of up specials coming out of the way from Synume here, and the tether has already racked up a fair amount of damage on the side of Leviathan as well.
And look at the way that Leviathan went to the skies to go after the Velma, because at that point, jab, jab into the battering, covering the dodge in from Superman was already there. Massive damage differential between the two of them. They have some survivability with that Superman, but it's going to be very crucial that he stays near and try and take those hits for Velma, who's going to lose that first life off the top.
Yeah, and Rip City Outlaw should be soon to follow. There it is. The stock is going to fall as Synume and Leviathan start off by showing a masterclass of how to this is so well for you.
One of the worst places to be in this game is on the ledge versus Leviathan and Synume. They cover almost everything they get back on the stage, but even with this projectile block perk that they have, covering him with the second up there, going only up there, you have like no options. He had the projectile block perk to get in the way though. If that wasn't there, he would have taken that hit.
Yeah, that was almost curtains. And that Superman, like, my boy is heavy. You know, he eats his meat and potatoes, and it does not matter right now because Synume keeps chasing my man out the sky. Uppercut after uppercut. Ooh, do we see off the wall? Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter.
And like, you can hear what the buttons and the being pressed at the end there. All of the resources were gone. And what was the reason why he fell? Leviathan got out there quickly. If you try to use a dodge, you try to use a special in, down air. If you try to go in too quickly when the projectiles is in the way, and even with the words going to chase, if you did somehow get through all that, well, congratulations, here comes Synume on the other side because Velma already committed to going off stage.
Man, it is terrifying when you are off stage and Rain Dog is coming up, because you don't know if Rain Dog is going to try to just go for the outright down air. You don't know if he's going to go for an off-the-wall play like we saw from Leviathan there. Where you go, it might hit the backboard a little bit. So then you're like thinking about all these options, but then when you don't have anything, it means Rain Dog can set up for, as you were saying before, in terms of like checkmating opponents.
Yeah.
I'll bounce it off the side, and then I'm just going to down air where it doesn't go, and then I'm going to cover everything that way, and that was oppression.
What's so scary about that bounce off the wall too is that after that you could dodge out, use that dodge out, and go to the position where the projectile isn't, where they might go down, and then battering comes in at the top, or just a dive kick coming in from Batman covers the dodge up and away. So you need your teammate to be there to hit the Rain Dog, hopefully after that volley, and you get away from the projectile. Otherwise, like you said, it's a checkmate situation, the illusion of choice. There is nothing you could do to get past that.
And it's so terrifying because this Superman Velma team, we were talking about, yes, Superman can like dart over there to help Velma, but as we were watching, Superman was the one that looked like he needed a little bit of help. You know what I mean?
I was very surprised with how even with the projectile block perk and the tanking capabilities of Superman, he just couldn't get through that, and that is so stressful because you need Superman to be up front to get that damage going. I think that in this next match, we're going to be seeing Superman and Velma kind of stay closer to each other a bit more, use that Frostbat and cover each other with the zoning capabilities to stop the battering, stop the approaches, and make it so the blue team has to try and zone break you, which they did just fine in that previous match. But it's a little bit more stressful because now you have to worry about Superman dodging in, using that charged up attack to go ahead and break you 2 up.
So then, if you are in the seat of Qeuw and RipCityOutlaw here, right, where do you think you go for a stage for the second game?
So for you definitely don't go anywhere near Batcave, that's for sure, against this matchup, because Batcave is a very easy way to find knockouts for Batman off the top, and you have the crystal that you could use off the Batmobiles to keep there forever. So not a place you want to go to. You want to go to something maybe smaller, maybe run it back to Sky Arena, no platforms, but instead it's going to be Trophy's Edge. So similar idea to what happened with Sky Arena where they had the separation, but then they have some platforms to try and mix up the recoveries as well.
Okay, and already starting off, looks like you might have the targeted debuff coming out from Velma onto. We have a Garnet here, which I was not expecting to see at all, but I'm a big fan of this character. There's going to be a stock dropping already in terms of Rip kind of falling on the Superman, but despite that, the oppression is still continuing despite the change of characters from the blue team. Yeah,
it's all just option coverage from Synume off stage, and even with the switch-ups here to Garnet, they're just staying up close and personal, and this is what we used to see from Leviathan before. Catching the gauntlet, going outside, trying to get the side air, missing out with the high recovery, but a lot of resources are gone. They are going to hit Synume, but look at Leviathan instantly there to cover to stop a potential down air from Velma.
Oh, okay. Looks like we're going to watch Leviathan get a little bit too antsy there with that charge neutral air fastballs into the blast zone. But despite that, they're doing an immaculate job of putting on the pressure. Everything's tied so far in terms of lives. That up special almost taking that stock from Velma, but not quite enough.
A good job reading through that down air from Batman. Going off stage with the dive kick. Here comes Superman. Here comes Rip trying to catch the side air off the side, but not quick enough to stop Synume. And then the coverage after the battering. That's going to force him to have to go high. He's going to have to deal with it off stage, but the grab gets him through.
Yeah, I like the fact that he went for the grab, decided, all right, I'm going to go ahead and dodge and then grab again, kind of give myself a different trajectory and make it back to the stage. But despite that, the blue team is still finding these KOs. We're going to see if Rip and Qeuw are able to strike back.
Yeah, you're going to see the attack decay coming in from that side air for Superman. One of the main ways he finds damage, and he's going to get that knockout off the top. Weakness stacks being applied, though. Velma has the ability to rack some damage on, but they have to get rid of Garnet, hopefully soon, because Batman has been so evasive that they try to maybe find a high one off the top.
Okay. On here, so the red team looking healthy despite the fact that they are down a little bit here. Maybe they can bring this back. I like the way they're actually adapting here. Neutral air from Superman is going to come out. It's not going to find the mark, but they have a good amount of damage. That's going to KO off the top. We're going to see if we can find one more here as the red team's about to do it.
And you saw how instantly went after to go break that battering, and now they got to double up on Velma, but they have an opportunity here to get this game because they put a lot of damage onto both the Garnet and the Batman. Bat Bomb is attached to Velma, though. It's going to be hard to get away from this, but they were too focused on Superman.
Yeah, and you got to make sure you're watching out for those charge down attacks from Garnet as well. Controlling the base platform, forcing your opponents to jump can really set you up for some precarious scenarios, but I do not know who's going to take this one, Ajax. It's too close to call.
It's extremely close right now. Downer coming in from the Velma. Immediate escape from Synume. Going off stage, Velma has pretty much no options, but Superman gets in the way. Gonna get hit by the jabs. The armor comes through. They get the side air, and they finish their food. They shut it down, prevent the potential of getting game number 2, and Synume and Leviathan get themselves to day number 2, winning out in their winners finals of this pool.
Yeah, man, that was immaculately played by Synume and Leviathan. I did like the attempt from Rip there on the recovery, because if you're not well-versed versus Superman, it can be really tough to beat out that side special in the air sometimes. It can out-prioritize a lot of things, but if you got the spacing right, you can see, like we just witnessed, it was just boom, caught him one more time, and that was the KO.
Option coverage, option coverage, option coverage. You get out there, you remove the defensive options. You only have 2 of each, and once one is gone, it's so much easier to capitalize, especially with the mobility on Batman, but also the surprising burst of Garnet. We saw how the side air covered a lot of range. We saw he was using the projectiles to force him out. There was one of the lives that got